I might as well leave this too, right? Yeah, for pictures.
There.
No, you keep those on now.
Real quiet around there.
Let's go outside.
Good boy.
You see?
Okay, Bob, we'll see you in the morning.
Okay. See ya.
Call us if you need anything.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Bob. See you. Hi, Bob. See you, John.
All right, we'll see you, Bob.
You want to go out?
Is Christy already out here? Watch your step, Mom. I got you. So don't mind.
There you go.
Yeah, must be getting down to 30s tonight.
I call him by 5 different names before I get to the right
Just
one.
like Mom.
Just like Mom.
I call him Michael. I call him Dan.
That's the early stages.
It's not funny.
It isn't funny, I tell you.
No, it really isn't.
I'm scared worse than anyone because my short-term memory is almost gone.
You're not as scared as I am, Mike, because I know my memory is terrible.
That's
real.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
I don't think she did anything wrong in raising her 4 kids. She did everything right, as far as I know. I don't know how I turned out how I did. But it's not mother to blame.
She was a loving mother. She was always there for us. She always taught us right from wrong. She gave us a good upbringing. And she was fair. I think always a fair mother. And she loved all of us equally. I don't think she showed any favoritism. She knew she'd make a good mother, which she did.
I mean, I don't know if she chose to become a parent. I think she probably, maybe she always loved kids, because I think she did tell me that even when she was real young, she used to watch the neighbors' kids or babysit and all that.
I used to love to take care of the little children, any little children in the neighborhood, and be like a mother to them. And I think when my babies were born, probably my happiest times. I loved babies, and I loved having them. When they were born, I was always real happy. And I was tickled to death when Kathy was born, because she was my little girl. I loved it when she was little, and I could take her, put her in the carriage, take her walking to neighbors of friends' homes. Children are just fun to be with.
She couldn't pass a baby or a small child without engaging them in some way. Children would just gravitate to her. All the children in the neighborhood gravitated to her.
Hi.
Hi, Allison.
Hi.
She was the best. Still is.
She was such a loving, giving mother, more than anything, and that she really helped balance a lot of what we went through with our father when he was going through a tough time, being in the military and giving us the tough love. She really countered with such unending love for us equally. She really did care for each one of us individually and gave us individually the attention that we all needed, and to nourish our lives, to really feel like we were loved in this family, and that our future was bright, and that it just gave us the family bond that we needed. Her just unending love.
What most amazes me about her is her resilience. She had an unbelievable ability to bounce back from difficult situations and to almost make light of them so that they didn't become too difficult for her kids. And I was the oldest and probably had the most clear picture of what was actually going on at any given time, but she managed to shelter me. First of all, you have to realize my mother was virtually a single parent. My father went on maneuvers, secret maneuvers, where he would be gone for 6 weeks at a time. He would be stationed in other places, like the year I was in 6th grade, he was stationed in Japan. He'd be called away for a variety of reasons. I mean, he moved up in his career, and in order to do that, he put a lot of attention into work. He often worked at night and went back to the base, even when he was home. And on the weekends, the poor man would usually sack out because he was tired. So he spent, I would always remember a huge part of Saturday and Sunday he was sleeping. So this was virtually nonstop, left my mother to raise 4 kids by herself. There were some really, really difficult times. I mean, not the least of which was moving. She almost always had to shepherd the whole move by herself because my father would have to go ahead to already start his new job, and then we would follow like anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks later, and she would have to manage that whole process of getting us all packed up and enroll us in new schools constantly. I mean, I don't know. I just can't even begin to understand how she did that with 4 children. It's mind-boggling. I remember being shocked at just the number of things she had to contend with, and how she was really gripping to hold on to her sanity and her goodwill and her ability to hold our whole family organism together. The year from hell was, let's see, I think it was 1963, 64. And that was the year that we had all the sinkholes in the front yard that looked like it was going to swallow up the car or the house or the whole family all at once. My dad was in Japan for 13 months. My brother Bobby had a hearing problem. He started 1st grade, he had a hearing problem, and the idiot teacher not only didn't identify his hearing problem, but believed that he was being uncooperative, and so she would spank him every day and send him to the principal's office for, insubordination, I guess. And so my mother was constantly going over to the school and trying to deal with the teacher and the principal and Bobby. And this went on for the entire year, and they ultimately failed my poor brother. He wasn't able to hear most of what the teacher was saying at any given moment. So he had an operation, had his adenoids taken out, whatever in the world that is. And so my mother went through all of that, plus the ignominy and the shame, which I think it really impacted my brother in a very profound way. And she knew it too. She knew it, and she was just doing everything possible to stop it from happening, but she couldn't. My youngest brother, Michael, got deathly sick that very same year. I could feel her fear. I mean, I could just see the cold sweat coming out on her body, like on her arms and stuff. But she maintained a calm in her demeanor so that none of us panicked, which we might have if we'd known the extent of how bad it was. And that was one of the things I heard from that conversation I eavesdropped on, that Michael almost died. And then Johnny was having trouble adjusting to the school that he was attending. And for me, I was really harassed by the girls in my class and just literally shunned. And of course, I reacted to that by snapping back and by being just very biting and very sarcastic, and I just didn't take it lying down. So my mother was contending with all 4 of us going through our own personal crisis in the same year, without my dad anywhere around. That quality of resilience that she had and still has at least some of, even in the advanced stage of Alzheimer's, is something that I remind myself frequently that is a quality that I want to emulate.
When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Rich. Well, I had a real close friend named Mary, and she and I had lots of fun together. We used to do a lot of things together. We would sometimes sell some of our clothes, our old clothes that we were tired of and didn't want anymore.
Grew up in a loving family and laid back and carefree, and sounded like she had a pretty nice childhood. Even though she always thought that she wasn't a very pretty girl. She was always jealous of her older sister, which I don't know why.
She had two different themes in her childhood. One that she was very happy and had a lot of fun, and it was really like her real personality came out during her childhood. That was one theme. And then another theme was
She was always jealous of her older sister because she had all the boyfriends and got all the attention, and that she was the ugly duckling. And every time she said that, I'd say, "Mom, I mean, what are you talking about?" I'd look at pictures of her when she was young and my Aunt Dot, her sister when they were young, and I mean, I think Mom looked just as pretty, if not prettier than she did. But
I loved the first theme, and I would always encourage her to talk about her childhood experiences and things she did with her little neighborhood girlfriends. And they sold lemonade, and they made up little stories, and they slept overnight in tree houses, and had little like newspapers of all the goings on of the little neighborhood. It was a real solid, tight, happy community. But then there was this other thing of she was the youngest of 5 children, the second daughter. My Aunt Dot was the 4th child, and apparently my Aunt Dot was quite pretty in a almost Hollywoodish model kind of beautiful way. My mother's looks as a young woman in her teenage years and in her 20s followed a path that actually mine followed. She was sort of plain looking in those years. I mean, not in any way ugly, but just sort of plain, not what anybody would consider to be gorgeous. But as my mother got into her later 20s and early 30s, and then for the rest of her life, she really acquired, I guess it was the character of her face or her personality or whatever, but I think she became quite beautiful. And I remember thinking as a 15-year-old, I have a really, really gorgeous mom. And I was 15, so that would have made her close to 45, which is not exactly what you call young. Unfortunately for my mom, she always retained, I mean, I can remember even her 50s, her 60s, her 70s, she was still going over and over that theme of, I was the ugly one. Now, once in a while, when she was in a good frame of mind, she would shift to, but of course, I was the smart one. And she would see that as a kind of compensation for not having been pretty.
As it became apparent that the short-term memory was starting to disappear, the thing she really enjoyed was talking about her past, because they seemed to be so vivid still in her memory. She loved to talk about some of the men she dated in her life and how they contrasted from the person that she ended up marrying, who became her dad. My memory being as it is, which I can't remember specific stories as well, just, you know, bits and pieces of course, talking about staying out at the ballrooms and dancing with these men, and how she just loved dating and kind of wondered why she ever settled down. You know, it's like she embraced her singlehood more than her relationship with her husband from the last 40, 50 years, and I think that was just because she couldn't remember the good times that she had in the recent years as well as she could remember the good times she had when she was young.
What are some of your favorite memories, childhood or not, of Grandmommy?
See, I hate memory questions because I think I have a beginning of Alzheimer myself.
We played card games. She taught me how to play bridge at like the age of 8.
Card playing, having Grandma and Uncle Carr over, dinners, going out. We'd go to drive-ins in Key West.
I mean, everything we did together. We always did it as a family, and she was always fun to be with. We went on at least one vacation a year, and that was on service. And we'd go somewhere. Usually we went and go visit some family or somewhere. We stayed at a motel and hang out. But she'd be taking us to swimming lessons. And
Yeah, she took us swimming pools. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, about anything we wanted, she would try to take us and do. Cub Scouts. She was a den mother. You know, which that's Sunday school teacher. Yeah, Sunday school teacher, den mother. Those were neat.
My weekly grocery trip with Grandma. She used to take me to the commissary every Wednesday night. Or maybe it was Thursday night. And, you know, I remember being young and riding in the cart when she'd push me around. But it was just such a ritual that I used to look forward to every week. Because as I got older, she'd let me pick out things I could eat and drink during the week, you know, so I got my snack foods, and we had a lot of fun. It was a whole night affair, and we'd pick out TV dinners because Mom didn't have time to cook when we got home, so it was just fun, you know, something to look forward to every week.
My brother Johnny and I used to sing these Beatles songs and these Beach Boys songs, and so my mother would encourage us to sing in the car, and actually she didn't have a very good voice. She kind of sang out of tune. And so it's a little embarrassing to hear her sing, but she just, you know, she just went for it, and she knew she couldn't sing well because she would always say, if there's one talent that I could have, I wish I could sing. And I think there were times that my brother and I wished she could sing too. I mean, sing well. She definitely sang. She sang in the shower.
Goldhead State Park. We had fun. I think your mom was in a cottage, and roaches were biting her toes, nibbling on your toe. Wasn't that Kathy too, or is it just you? I thought it was Kathy. And I thought Kathy wanted to go back after that the next day. Didn't she go back? And I had a flashlight, and I shined the flashlight, and Kathy screamed, and she saw the roaches. And then, like Uncle John said, big old roaches nibbling on the toes, and they're eating the outer layers of the skin.
You could ride them.
Yeah, I mean, if you could catch them, you could ride them.
I was taking dance lessons over at the elementary school, and I had been taking dance lessons for several years because I was run over by a car accidentally when I was 3 years old, and that was sort of a traumatic event, and my leg was broken in many places, and the doctor told my parents that I should take ballet lessons and dance, and it would strengthen the right leg that was run over, and it would also straighten it out, make sure it wasn't crooked or deformed in any way. So that's how I got started on dance lessons. I'm not sure it would have happened but for that accident. At a certain point, I guess I was about 10 or 11, my dad said to my mom, there's nothing wrong with her leg. She doesn't need dance lessons anymore. And of course he was concerned about the expense, and we were operating on a budget and didn't have much money. So I was going to have to stop a couple of weeks before the recital. Now my teacher would have let me be in the recital, but there was a cost to the recital. You had to buy a costume. The costume was about $15 or $16. And my heart was totally broken. I mean, it was bad enough to stop the dance lessons, but to stop them right before we came up to the recital, I was just devastated. And all my friends were going to be in the recital. So my mother comes into this story because one Saturday morning around the time that all this happened, she was cleaning out some boxes of her old stuff. And she was pulling things out and reading it and kind of going into this nostalgia thing that she liked to do. And she pulled out this little tiny brown Bible, and she opened it, and as she opened the Bible, she found a $20 bill right in front of her Bible. And without saying a word, she immediately took the $20 bill in her hand and handed it to me. And I was just sitting around the room, just sort of aimlessly watching her go through her stuff. She handed it to me and she said, "Here, Kathy, here's the money for your recital costume." And of course, you know, I was just so elated and so excited and just so thrilled, and I'll never forget that recital. I mean, that recital is imprinted in my brain. But even beyond that, what's imprinted in my brain is that my mother didn't even hesitate to take that money, which she probably could have used to buy food, to buy clothes, to buy a book. I mean, anything that she probably needed more than a recital costume, but she gave it to me. And that's what she did with all her kids.
She taught me how to drive. Mom taught all of us. I think taught Kathy too. I don't know why Dad didn't. I don't think Dad had the patience.
Went around.
He went around and had the patience. I went down our street, straight down a block or so to the corner of Tempest, and Grandmommy told me to put on my foot on the brake, and instead of putting on the brake, I thought I had it brake. I had the gas pedal, and she said, "Brake now, harder." So I'm thinking I had it on the brake, so I punched it and floored it, and I had it on the gas, so I lost control because I'm going around the corner like 30 miles an hour. And I went up on somebody's yard and almost clipped the mailbox, cut across the street, almost clipped that mailbox. And she says, the brake, step. And I'm thinking I got my foot on the brake. All I had to do is press it harder. And it was the gas. So Grandmommy finally grabs my leg and lifts it up and puts me over by the brake. And I stomp on the brake and we come to a screeching halt sideways in the street. We would have probably been killed if cars were coming, but I guess we had other angels watching, the guardian angels of us.
We didn't have very much money, so most of the things that we did were, there was an overlay of tension about not having money to do things. I can remember a lot of fights at Christmas time that she had with my dad because she would want to make it the best Christmas ever and get us exactly what we wanted, regardless of what it cost. And my dad was always trying to watch out for the budget. But even within some pretty narrow constraints, she always had a way of making things incredibly joyful and fun. She liked to laugh, and she would say crazy things and be silly, and you would just get caught up in that, and it was just infectious. And I was a rather serious teenager, but she still persisted in, you know, sort of trying to draw me out of a little bit of my introverted shell, and, you know, just kind of whip me up into this notion of, you know, the world is a happy place if you only decide that it's a happy place. And so who knows what might have happened to me if I hadn't been influenced by my mother's happiness and optimism. She would dance around the house, and she would put her fingers up in the air and just sort of dance around the living room.
Any fun, crazy things that you did with your kids? Do you remember dancing around the living room?
Yeah, we did that, didn't we? I did love to dance.
Birthday parties. Oh my God. You know, she made such a big fuss over birthday parties. Again, not using very much or spending very much money, but we got to choose our birthday cake, and we almost always, all four of us, at least I know the first three for sure, would choose an angel food cake that she would make by taking a green Coke bottle and putting it right side up, and then she would put this pan with the cake in it. No, maybe the Coke bottle went in upside down first to hold the hole, and then she'd turn it over and it would come out. I don't know, but there was a green Coke bottle that was involved in this process of making an angel food cake. And so I know at least Johnny, Bobby, and I always requested angel food cakes for our birthdays. We almost always had a birthday party with the local kids, and there'd be, you know, little party things. And again, compared to the way things are done today, it would have looked very simple and very non-elaborate, and there were no clowns, there were no ponies in the yard or whatever. But we had the best birthday party, and my mother just infused it with the spirit of, this is going to be so much fun. This is your day. This is your special day. You are my special child, and I'm so glad that today was the day you were born. And so you just, a couple weeks before your birthday, you just get really excited, just anticipating that your cake would be made for you. And it was just, and Christmas was the same way. So she did a lot with very, very little. One of the strongest memories when I was grown up was when I moved in with my first boyfriend / later husband, David, a man that she adored, as most everybody in my family did, including me. I was very nervous about my father's reaction to me living with a man at the ripe old age of 20. So I decided to tell my mother separately and catch her when she was at work at the school across the street from where we lived. And so I pulled her out of the school library, and I pulled her into the hallway, and I said, Mom, I know this is going to come as a little bit of a shock, but I'm moving out of the house, and I'm moving in with David. We're going to live together. Oh, she cried. Oh, she just cried so hard. You're not moving, you're not leaving, It was like, I felt like I'm going to some foreign land where there will be natives shooting at me with bows and arrows, because she was just so upset. And I just felt so bad. But there was no question in my mind that this is something I was going to do. So I just gave her a big hug, and I said, but Mom, you love David. So why is this upsetting you so much? And she didn't say anything like, my little girl's grown up, or anything trite like that, but she knew that it was a big step for me. She knew it was a big fork in the road, that I was taking a major step into my own life and away from my family. And so I think that that's why she was crying. And we always had a very, very close relationship all the years that I was growing up.
I guess my main adult memories of her are when I'd bring girlfriends or eventually my wife home. She loved to tell her old stories, and her memories still being so strong of when she was in her 20s, back before she got married to my dad.
You were married to a Marine for many years, and you had to move a lot.
Yes,
What was that like?
not fun.
How come?
That's packing up children's clothes and all the things that we have to pack up and move. Well, I think I always like moving, but just to go to a different place.
So you liked the
Yeah.
new sensation of it. Did your kids like moving?
No, I don't think so. You think you liked it? You remember?
Not especially.
No. I don't think they especially liked it either.
We were constantly moving, and we were constantly having to enter new schools, have new teachers, start schools sometimes in the middle of the year, and make new friends in the neighborhood. The difficulty of doing that was a little bit different for each of us. I mean, it was difficult for me, but it was also a little bit liberating for me too, because I was kind of an eccentric and a kind of a child that went her own way. So moving frequently in some ways gave me even more latitude and more independence. I mean, I didn't care what my peers thought about anything. I didn't care what teachers thought. It almost allowed me to really more fully develop my personality. But at the same time, it was lonely. I was lonely a lot of the time. I think it was also hard on my brothers, the constant changing of friends and changing of environments and having to adapt and be the new kid again. And so I think by becoming a den mother and doing the Boy Scout or Cub Scouts thing, she was trying to create a community of people for my brothers to tap into. And I was a Girl Scout at that time, first a Brownie, then a Girl Scout, and she always went to all the stuff. She was there, you know, when I did little plays or little tiny things in which I had, you know, like a 2-line part or whatever. My mother was in the audience. I mean, she was always there. It was almost her way of life. She was a parent when she was a girl. She was a parent as a teenager. She was a parent as a parent. Then she became a parent again with her grandkids. She took in her first 2 grandchildren, Johnny and Jason, and raised them on the weekend, every weekend, for I don't know how many years. To her, that was not just an obligation, it was fun. It was absolutely fun. I mean, here she was in her late 50s, early 60s, I guess, running around with these little kids and taking care of them and teaching them stuff and making sure that they had everything they needed and loving them.
Well, I know it's affected the family pretty hard. Sure, it's still affecting the family. I know it still affects me. Probably has changed my life completely. It would never be the same again. Of course, with Grandma, I don't know if it has affected her too much. In a way, I guess it might seem like it hasn't, but I think there is a void in her life that she doesn't realize it's gone, but it is making some kind of effect on her. But she probably doesn't know exactly what it is because her memory, doesn't allow her to know what that void is. But that is the void that she's probably missing in her life, not having her loving mate in her life anymore. But she doesn't know that. But
My father dying was perhaps the most traumatic event that we've ever experienced, and it's sort of ironic because he wasn't young when he died. And I guess in a way it says that we were blessed as a family if that's the worst thing that ever happened to us. My dad died very suddenly. And he had a heart attack. And he died in the middle of the night. He was away from home. He had actually just left my house 2 days earlier. He and Mom had come up for Thanksgiving. At this point, Mom had Alzheimer's or some form of dementia, we knew, for probably between 6 to 8 years. And the last 2 or 3 years, it started to get kind of bad. And she was at the point where he was her primary caregiver, but sometimes at night she would forget who he was. And he wasn't her husband. Sometimes he was a friend. Sometimes he was a second husband. Sometimes he was a total stranger. And so she would react to him in those various ways as a result of the disease. This broke my dad's heart. My dad always loved my mother with an intensity that I would say you rarely see. All the years that I was around, that I could observe him, he loved my mother so deeply, so strongly. There's no question that she cared about him. I don't think she reciprocated the intensity of the love. And his personality was very difficult. He was a very, very strong-willed, patriarchal Marine. And he commanded everything. And if you didn't obey those commands, you would feel the brunt of his anger. So living with him was not the easiest thing. When she began to have the dementia that later was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, my father's more tender side, I think, came from the background to the foreground. And his care for her, his love for her became very, very overt. Her disclaiming of his rightful place in her life was just unbelievably heartbreaking for him. And I believe that that's what killed him. But from our family's point of view, we had known for so many years of my mother's dementia, and her own health problems. I mean, my mother had many, many health problems in the last 10 or 12 years before my dad died. And my dad was incredibly healthy, and he was, he'd go off to the Mayo Clinic and get tested. And in fact, he told me he was tested like 2 weeks before he visited me at Thanksgiving. And he said, oh, clean bill of health, heart's fine, lungs fine, gives me the whole list. So not one person, I believe, in the family had any clue that my dad could possibly go like that, and including himself, because if he had had a clue, he might have finished making his will and tying up a lot of loose ends that made things difficult for everyone. It's like you look at a family portrait and there's this huge blank space without my dad. He was just a very strong, forceful, colorful personality. And that was just snipped out of the portrait so fast that our heads spun. And I don't think any of us have really recovered from that. But I think on a deeper, perhaps unconscious level, she's well aware of the fact that he's not there to take care of her. None of us wanted that to come to be. I mean, the natural order of things would have been that my mom would have gone first. And although my dad would have been incredibly sad, and I'd already started talking to him about possibly moving in with us after Mom passed away. And we just all thought that that's how it would happen. But it didn't happen that way.
It's going to bring up some difficult times, and it's going to be some times when, confrontation that we never had to face as a brother and sister before. But overall, I think any time you go through it, it just brings you closer. And I think it's important and vital that we have gone through it as a family, because I believe now that our ties are so strong that we'll stay just as close, if not closer, throughout the rest of our lives.
Well, she don't want to leave like during the daytime and the evening time because she's content and comfortable in her house. It's just at night it gets to where she's not comfortable because she's afraid the people that own this house and live here are going to come home and she's going to be all in their way and all that. It's just so weird. It's just at night, But during the day, she's comfortable reading the paper, and even Jason, in the short time he's been, he knows the difference from how she was last night to when she got up. Her memory. I mean, last night she couldn't remember Zaren's name from 5 minutes to the next 5 minutes, and then today she saw Zaren this morning, and then she went in the bedroom and came back out 30 minutes later and said, "Oh, hey, Zaren," like that. Just such a difference in that 2-hour switch when her mind clicks off at night. From around 7, 8, 9, something like that. After it gets dark. Told Jason I'll be glad when the summer gets here when it don't get dark till 9.
Well, I can tell you, Mom, but you're not gonna believe me, so there's no sense in even telling you. You're not gonna believe me. You don't believe me anything I tell you anymore.
Well, tell me what.
I'm gonna tell you that the reason this house, the phone number is 573-9214, because this is your house, and this is where you live, and this is where you've always lived. But you're not going for that, I know.
But I thought I was calling the number over there. That's not
Over where? Where's over there?
my house that I'm living now.
Well, see, I say you're living in this house now. We don't agree on that.
Life in prison, they're saying. So guys, let this be a lesson.
I say you
Is
live here,
that the
Mom.
number, Jason?
Huh?
573-9314?
That's your home number, Grandma. That's the number here.
Well, it's not my home phone number then, because I
Yeah.
don't live here.
Finally, you come out of the bedroom, you weren't quite ready. You come out the door, and then
What
I
bedroom, Charlie, did I
the
come out
bedroom
of?
on the other side of that wall right there, Mom.
Charlie, I don't live in this house.
Oh, what else? Oh, here you go.
So I couldn't have come out of the bedroom here.
Why not?
I don't live in this house.
You sleep here every night.
No, I don't. If I slept here, I would be in bed now.
Well, Mom, why don't you go to bed? I thought you were staying up waiting on.
I'm not living here. I'm trying to get my husband to answer the phone, but I guess he's not home.
Mom, that phone number you're dialing is this house right here.
Hey, Cat, what does Michael Jackson call
Well, I don't
Toys R Us?
understand
The meat
that.
market down there.
I don't know what else to tell you. But Mom, well, all you gotta do is go in that bedroom if you're tired and go to sleep. And 'cause tomorrow's your birthday, you wanna. Plus, I keep forgetting, Mom, you got that hair appointment tomorrow. I mean, I'm gonna have to wake you up at 9 o'clock, Mom. Why don't you go on to bed?
Youngest child, Blanket. You see, that's what he calls the kid Blanket, but that's what he keeps on the kid's face.
I better be busy.
The same thing Eleanor Kluytman, she gave her 9-year-old husband the nickname Pillow. So that's what she kept with her.
I don't think I did.
Oh, how many watch
I'm
the
busy?
Nicole Smith show? You watch that program? Fascinating.
Somebody talking a lot.
Well, her interior decorator,
Somebody talking more than I was talking
he's gonna
to
get his
her.
own TV show.
You could drive me home. I don't live here. I don't live
Mom,
here
we've
far.
tried this before, and we get in the car, and then you can't tell me how to get to your house, and I don't know where it's at. If it's not here, I have.
Well, Jason, you know, don't you?
Grandma, this is your home.
Oh,
I
don't.
know you. I'm serious. I know you don't remember, Grandma. But your memory's not good anymore.
What's not good?
Your memory.
No, you know where my house is.
Yeah.
Well, Mom,
This
we
is
all
it.
say your house is here.
Well, here, let's one at a time.
We all say. Everybody says
No,
this
he
is your.
just said he knows where my house is.
Yeah, Grandma. Right here, where we're at right now. I know it's hard to believe.
Leave my house again because I have too much time getting back to it. I don't know why we moved because I like this house a lot.
Well, then why don't you just say you didn't move and just live here and enjoy it? I'm just gonna give you this house back, Mom.
No, I can't do that.
Well, I want you to have it.
Look,
Tomorrow's your birthday.
Hey.
Tomorrow's your birthday.
We have all
It's
our
yours.
clothes.
No,
I
Mom.
don't even think I'm gonna celebrate it.
Oh, you have to. You got all your family coming. They celebrate it. Help you celebrate.
No. I don't have my family coming.
Jason came, and Mike
Yeah.
and Shelley's coming.
Michael and Shelley will be here.
Bobby's made big plans, big birthday party plans. Aunt
Well, I'm
Jean,
gonna be dead.
Aunt Jean, Uncle
Tired.
Jim's coming over.
I'll get you some sleep, Grandma.
Jim.
Uncle Jim.
Jim and Jean.
Oh, I'm thrilled to death. Uncle Jim's coming over.
You have to edit that.
Tiny, you know, I'm right down the street.
I just beg you, let's just go to sleep here. It'd be so much easier and convenient. Just go to sleep here.
Easy and convenient for you, but not for me, Tiny.
Mind you, you got a nice big king-size bed in there. It's cold outside. Why you want to go outside in the cold?
I want to get home and see if my kids are okay because,
Which kids are you referring to? I mean, as far as I know, like Kathy lives in North Carolina.
oh, I'm not.
Bobby lives in
The old ones, I don't care how they are.
Well, which kids are you talking about? You don't care about them no more? It's like what? Your young
Hey,
kids?
they take care of themselves.
Well, what kids are you
Johnny,
talking
young
about?
ones at home.
Like I don't know who. You have young kids and you're what 80? Are they your kids?
Yeah. But
You
I'm
had
not
them?
80, Johnny.
In 20 minutes, 15 minutes, you'll be 80.
I have to spend the night here because I'm not going to be able to get home. If somebody could walk with me. Do you know where my house is, Jason?
Yeah, it's right here, Grandma. I'm serious.
Then you don't know where it is.
I'll let you go so you can get on the bed. I love you. Good night,
That
Mom.
sounds great. Now all you have to do is drive me home.
I'll give you a ride home. Jump on my back and I'll carry you to your
All
bedroom.
right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, Mom. Bye. Love you. Bye.
I'm looking at your feet.
My feet?
Yeah. They're so,
Get turned on?
yeah. They're so, almost like in a movie screen showing feet.
I agree,
But you
Dad.
really have got a,
You got some set of
I have
feet.
Hollywood feet.
yeah, and a high instep.
High instep. Yes, I do have a high
Yeah.
instep.
You should be a foot model, Dad.
And I have another,
That's probably about the only model I'd make, a foot model.
Shoot.
Well, if the pay's good, I'd do it.
Model your smile.
we
man.
didn't accomplish anything that telephone call, did we?
No, I enjoyed our little chat. You didn't enjoy our chat, Mom?
Dementia is a gradual process. It wasn't like, this switch got flipped on overnight and her personality changed. My memories tend to be more of my dad than Mom because he was much more social at the time, and I could see Mom socially starting to withdraw, and that's when I started seeing the change in her too, as far as her memory and not recalling the things she did in the past. In the early 90s, we were already seeing a drastic change in her personality from, when we were kids in the 60s and 70s, where there was never a bitterness before it started to come out. I mean, she never argued with anyone, much less even her husband. Even if, he would say something that was inappropriate, pretty much she would just kind of let it go. Before, she made a point to stand up and fight against it now, which is, great that she was starting to stand up for herself, but it was almost going to the opposite end of the spectrum, which was very, very unlike her from her early years.
Of course, no personality now, no nothing. She's not the same person. She's not even hardly not even a person. She's just like there's something inside. She's like a shell. And there's something, I don't know what's inside that shell, but there's no comparison. That's what's a shame if someone just happens to meet her now, or maybe in the last few years, and for the first time, and they might try to make some kind of judgment on what kind of person she was in life. They have no clue what kind of person she was, growing up with and all that.
Yeah, she's a pretty social person. She interacts with a lot of people, and she's the center of attention with a lot of stuff happening. So now she isn't. She just, sits in one room until we move her, but she still has pieces and glimmers of her old self. She smiles and still likes people, be around people for the most part, and laughs and carries on. So you see some of her old self coming out. So you would just see more of it, instead of just bits and pieces of it every now and then. She used to have our kind of patience with my son Joshua, and now she doesn't have that much patience with them or with most kids. And Joshua is a special needs child, so you have to have patience with him. And sometimes, all the time before, she had our kind of patience with Joshua, and it definitely has affected her and her relationship with Joshua. Little things he does set her off and can bother her. So when we go visit her, most of the time I don't have Joshua with me because I know it kind of bothers her sometimes because he can do little things that can be annoying. And to most people it's not, but somebody with Alzheimer can affect them and irritate them.
You're pretty much having to go back to the very basics, almost like meeting a stranger every time, because she's asking you the initial questions a stranger is going to ask you about where you're living. Do you have kids? And then, oh, that's great if you do. So you don't get the intimacy with her, and that's what I think we miss the most, is just those connections that you make for living with somebody for a lifetime. Just don't really exist anymore.
At the time that she was really starting to come down with the symptoms, I would only see her once or twice a year on maybe Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's harder for me in that time. But I do remember, maybe 10 years ago, a little less, her mistaking me for calling me Michael more often, mainly calling people by the wrong name. And then even times of calling people by the wrong name and not correcting herself, that was odd. She wouldn't catch it that she had made that mistake. And I can remember, let's see, I think I was 18 on this Thanksgiving, so it would have been 10 years ago, we were having Thanksgiving at Gina Jim's house. And I think I was feeling a little more sentimental than usual, just being with all the family. And Grandma was right next to me as we were up, we set up kind of a buffet line to get our food. And I was just standing next to Grandma getting our food. And I said, Grandma, people ask me all the time, how am I such a balanced person? And I credit you for a lot of that. And I remember Grandma's reaction, something about it seeming a little hollow. Like if she wasn't sort of getting the significance to it, or the significance to that I'm her grandson that spent so much time with her, that's telling her that. It was like she just didn't connect it well. I remember her kind of giving me this program response like, but that's nice, dear, or that's nice, Jason. And I just thought, that's not the response I'm used to getting from her. That's not what I expected. So, you know, as years went on after that, I seemed to get more of those where I think she was sort of losing her personality a little bit. She was losing, you know, understanding of people and our relationships, and you know, without the past that we've had together, there wasn't as much for her to draw on, I guess, in relating with me.
How was she different after she got Alzheimer's than before?
Well, memory. I don't know what else to say other than her memory is not there.
Well, of course, her memory is.
Yeah, I mean, that's
it's
the
changed
biggest
her whole
thing.
person. I mean,
Changed her personality, her memory.
Yes, her memory.
Yeah, her person, she's not quite the same.
I guess the biggest difference is that resilience, that calmness, it's almost like she had a will to be serene and to survive whatever was thrown at her. That's pretty much gone. And now it's been replaced with a really sad agitation, an uncertainty of what's going to happen next, and where am I going to go, who's going to take care of me, where am I located, you know, what year am I in, who are these people? I mean, all these uncertainties have replaced that that calmness, that serenity, that effortless control. That's how I would describe what she used to have. Because you couldn't feel it. Unlike my father, who's controlling you, like, you could feel that control. My mother's control was even more invisible than, say, a spider web. She had things managed. She had her family cared for and protected, but you couldn't necessarily see it. It was just in place. I wish we could do that for her now. I wish we could provide that for her.
And Kathy looks more like you than she does me, I think.
That's Christy.
Yeah.
That's Kathy.
See, she knows who we are, she just mistakes our names.
Oh yeah, I know she knows who we are.
Now that is something you discussed in front of me. I know she knows.
Name everyone in this room besides you. Start with me, and then this person, then that person.
What did I name you? I can't remember what I named you.
So who's this young man?
Come on.
Beats me.
He beats you.
This is the sunshine of my life, Mom. My first child, my only child. You were there when he came out of the womb.
See you, Grandma.
You were standing right there, Mom.
I was standing there.
You were standing right
I
there.
was tired.
You were tired, because let me tell you, I was tired. 4 to 6 hours of labor, you'll be tired. You were standing there, Sue was standing there, Dan was standing there.
Everybody.
This little tiny baby came out very, very slowly. And he wasn't in very good
That's pretty
shape.
hair.
Thank you.
Corin.
Really nice. Corin.
Corin, yeah.
And who is this? Who is Corin to you?
My grandson.
Good job.
Yes.
Who am I to you?
My granddaughter.
Yes.
Now who is she to you?
My mess. I think we need to take a nap.
Did you have dinner already, Mom?
Yeah. Grandma fixed sandwiches for me.
Grandma came down from heaven and fixed you a sandwich.
Yeah.
She's up there, Mom, waiting for you.
Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let mosquitoes bite. Good night. I used to say that all the time.
Ever since I've known my grandmother, she has been afflicted by Alzheimer's. It often makes me wonder how her children's offspring will remember her, if at all. Can we do an interview now?
No, thank you.
Please?
No, thank you.
Come on, please.
I said no, thank you.
Just talk about Grandmommy. Please?
I don't like taking pictures. I don't like doing
Please?
interviews.
Just talk about Grandmommy. Please?
Warren!
Please, just talk about Grandmommy.
I want to do something else.
Can't you just talk about Grandmommy?
I want to do something else.
Talk about Grandmommy?
No.
You're a family member. You need to do an interview.
I have to go to the
Come on,
bathroom.
talk-
See what I mean?
I don't care if you laugh. It's okay. How young were you when you first
I don't have a
remembered?
good memory.
Well, any memory. Do you remember going over her house and having her babysit you?
I think I remember
Do you remember going over
taking
and
walks with her.
taking walks? Was that for her benefit or for your benefit?
Both, I guess.
How come? How did it help
Had
you?
fun.
Oh, how was it fun?
Because that was time we spent together.
What did you talk about?
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember just walking around with her.
In the neighborhood?
Talking about something.
Did she ask you about school?
Sometimes.
You do remember that she used to call you by my name and me by your name.
Yeah, she still does that.
She still does. Why do you think that is?
Because she thinks I'm her daughter. But I don't know.
Yeah, because you look like me when I was young. But I can't figure out why she calls me Christy.
Because I don't look like you.
No, you don't. Not yet, anyway. Maybe you'll get there someday. When did you notice that she changed her behavior? When Alzheimer's kind of, or something like
That's
it.
a hard question. I don't know. I guess she didn't have a lot of patience. She was losing her patience. Like right now, she'll just get frustrated with Josh at the littlest things.
And before? Like way back when she was perfectly
Hardly anything
normal?
would bother her.
Hardly anything?
What age did she get Alzheimer's? I can't remember.
About 8 years ago, I think. It started when she was about maybe 74. It started for me when she started to repeat, asked me to repeat stories that I had just told her.
Yeah, like, I can't really tell her that too much now. Like, when we go and see her, you know, at the nursing home and stuff. I can't even remember the last time she asked me something the second time.
Yeah.
Actually, she has a lot of good days.
She does. What happens on her good days?
She's just so, like, she's in such a good mood, and she's happy, she's smiling, she's even funny.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's always had a great sense of humor.
Yeah, she didn't lose that, that's for sure.
The very weekend after Dad died, Mom and I slept in the same bed, you know, a couple of days before the funeral. And we stayed up awake that night talking and talking and talking. It was almost like 10 years had gone backwards, and she was her old self.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like, I guess, you know, I had to be a lot younger. Well, no, even like when, like we'd get her from the nursing home and there's like a holiday the next day or whatever, so she spends the night with us, and like sometimes like I lay in the bed with her and she'll just sit there and talk for 20 minutes. I'm like, I love you, girl, but I want to go to sleep. She just talk and talk. You're like, how's your day? Like, fine. And she just make up all this other stuff, and I'm like, whew, boy, girl's a talker.
Yeah. I asked her what it was that was special about her sense of humor, because I always remembered her having a great sense of humor. And she said, I'll never forget what she said. I don't know what it is, but I always seem to be able to see the funny side of life. And I like that. I thought that was true.
Yeah. I don't know how it got to this subject, but someone asked Grandma something like, no, actually, no one even asked her. She just brought up, that's one of the reasons I married Granddaddy, was because he's such a good driver. I'm like, wow, guys, I never heard that before.
Well, he did love to drive.
Yeah, he did.
And he is a good driver.
Yeah,
or
he is
was.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about having it yourself? Alzheimer's.
No, I never thought of that ever.
Oh, that's good. Don't.
Yeah, no.
Don't think about it.
Yeah. Terrible disease. I don't know. It's just so. I don't understand, how they have so many cures for all these diseases, but they can't find one for Alzheimer's.
It's not a piano, but it's like a piano.
Keyboard.
Organ.
It's a lot like an organ in how it sounds, but it's made out of fabric and metal.
An instrument made out of
Yes, it's played a lot in the country that's above England.
Bagpipe.
That's it. But it's a triangle shaped structure. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
These are some very tough questions, Corn. How would it be different?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say
If someone else
got
had
it.
No, anyone in the family. If someone else had gotten it besides her.
Right, it wouldn't really make any difference unless it were me. Then it would really be. Then I wouldn't know how to. Then I wouldn't have to deal with it, and then everybody else would have to deal with it. I wouldn't have to deal with it.
If I had to throw Dad, I guess into that scenario, having the disease, would it have been different? I'm sure it would have been quite different. I'm not sure if Mom would have been able to handle what Dad went through taking care of her. So for her to take care of him the same way, it probably would have been impossible. And we probably would have been involved more, which on one hand might have been better for the kids because we would have been more prepared once one of them would have passed away. Is losing that primary caregiver kind of just threw us off for a loop. And, we just didn't think out the scenario of the caregiver dying before the patient.
I heard you were a little bit of a daredevil at the beach, and you'd go in the waves by yourself.
Wasn't that much to it. Just going into the waves, the water.
Pretty
And
deep.
It was deep, but it wasn't anything that scared me.
How come? Why weren't you scared?
I don't know, because I loved the beach so much. I loved everything about it. I loved the ocean, and walking the beach too, because that was fun.
Mom was standing on top of that thing, and wind would blow you right off over the railing and thousands of feet up. I didn't know Johnny had a guitar.
Oh yeah.
I know Bobby had
very into music for
that
a while.
snare
He took
drum.
piano lessons.
Yeah, I knew he
for
did.
a year, and did really, really well.
Oh, rock and roll Mike now. Is that me? I took over.
Yeah.
Bob
Bobby
didn't get the
never had
lessons.
lessons.
I know. Do you think you're filming this, Catherine?
Yeah, probably.
You never see the two of them together. That's a great shot
See?
right there.
Oh, wow.
I told you, Dad loved Mom. He was madly in love with Mom.
I think she was such a balanced person. She seemed to know a little bit about everything. I mean, I can't remember her ever just seeming stumped or without some bit of knowledge to talk about something. And I'd ask, anything I'd ask her about, she always seemed to know something about it. A very compassionate person. I never heard a negative word about anyone. She always seemed to take a compassionate, sort of perspective on other people. Not judgmental, which, as much as she was involved with church and things of that nature, I guess I might have expected her to be more judgmental, but I didn't see that from her. It just wasn't in her. For me, I know Granddad had so much influence on me for the serious side that I have, and the side of me that always wants to be responsible and efficient and prepared, kind of the Boy Scout side of me. Grandma was so essential in giving me the emotional side that I have and the sensitivity, I think, because she was aware of how people felt, and she was a nurturing person. She loved to take care of people. So Grandma and Granddad were much more of a parental influence in my life than my parents were. My parents were young and didn't really know how to be parents yet, so I learned more from Grandma and Granddad than anyone else probably growing up. So I learned just about everything from Grandma and Granddad. And Granddad was a soldier. He was kind of a man of few words. So certainly I had to get much more from Grandma. And I did. I mean, I could go on all night about all the things I can attribute to learning from her.
People die. Their creations live on. Captured in words, in images, in sound, a slice of the soul is cemented for posterity. A few frames of my grandmother's essence remain, populating the reels of time. Art freezes life in a snapshot, awaiting future observers to discover its presence.
Grandma, this is your debut. Okay.
Michael, he looks like me
Michael?
when I was young.
Coin?
Corin.
See everything. You better hide my face. I want to see everything.
You do better at this. You take it. She wasn't looking.
The take on it. Like there was no evidence. The police totally.
Well, the DA had to have something to bring in.
That's a lightsaber.
You get glimmers of how they used to be, and you still have that person. You know, they're still alive. And some people might think they're, not alive, but they are. They're still alive. And I'd rather have grandmommy alive with Alzheimer than gone, with a heart attack or something. Because you still have her, and she still has some of the same qualities that she had, just maybe in some degree they're lessened.
But, I don't know that I've been able to paint the picture of our mother. Like I said, we tend to dwell on her last 20 years and a lot of it dealing with Alzheimer's and the disease, but that was so, in her 80 plus years that she's lived so far, if we think about it, that's a small fraction of her life. And the largest part of her life was being just this fun-loving, free-spirited woman who really added enrichment to a lot of people's lives that she touched. And she loved to enjoy life and helped change her father because his personality did change over years. And while he mellowed out and really became more like her and started meeting her in her principles of life and what makes life important, such as family. It was a special life. I wish there was more documentation on how she lived it before she hit her 40s and 50s and 60s, and even the kids' recollections, because I'm sure there was some incredible years before that. You would have a whole new movie at that point.